How's it going, guys? I'm Scody, and today we're going to talk about Star Wars Shatterpoint's latest transmission, this time on squad building, and the first of hopefully many rules articles coming out before we get to see a demo at Adepticon this year. So the first part of this transmission touches on the overall feeling of Star Wars Shatterpoint and why they made the game. They wanted the game to be character focused, they wanted it to be fast paced, high action skirmish. They wanted to recreate high stakes with personal confrontations across the saga. And they also said that they wanted to see zoomed in conflicts, which I really appreciate. These are the type of moments that have stuck with me since childhood of Ahsoka versus Vader or Maul versus Obi-Wan. These really high action, very dramatic moments in the Star Wars saga that are so short but so impactful for the story we get to recreate here in Shatterpoint. So the next part of the transmission goes into building each player's strike team. So it's going to be one player versus another player, so two players total, each with their own strike team, with every strike team comprised of two different squads. Each squad must have a primary unit, a secondary unit, and a supporting unit, which we'll get into a little bit later. And the game decided to call minis characters. So, for example, Ahsoka Tano just has one mini, so she's just one character, but she's her own unit. However, the B1 battle droids have three characters because they have three minis. However, they still only make up one unit because they share a common stat card. Something of note here, a little bit later we'll talk about abilities, and abilities can affect either a unit or a character, meaning that they can affect just one of the B1 battle droids and the B1 battle droids unit. A fun little side note that they threw in here up top, which I thought might be a little bit relevant later. As far as primaries in the core set, we will get 4 of them, which makes sense because for 2 players to play a game, they're going to need 4 primaries since each one will have 2 squads and you always need a primary in your squad. The primaries include Ahsoka Tano, Jedi No More, General Anakin Skywalker, Asajj Ventress, Sith Assassin, and also Lord Maul. So the primary unit of a squad also acts as the leader of the squad. The leader of the squad determines how many squad points you can use to flesh out the rest of your squad, as well as which era the squad hails from. How many times can I say squad? So these squad points are used to buy both the secondary unit and also the supporting unit. Here in this example, they use 4 of the 8 squad points from Ahsoka Tano, Jedi No More to buy Bo-Katan Kryze, who is a secondary unit, as well as another 4 points for Clan Kryze Mandalorians, which they are a supporting unit. So I also said that the leader of the squad determines the era. So this is the Clone Wars era because it's Ahsoka Tano. So all of the units in her squad must be from the Clone Wars era. You can't draw from the Galactic Civil War era. It's also alluded to that the stronger the primary character, the less squad points you'll have to flesh out the rest of your squad. So basically, stronger primary means weaker secondary and supporting, which seems like a convenient way to help balance the game. The last restriction that they covers an entire strike team. You can't have more than one of the same named unit in a single strike team, even across both squads. So, for example, Ahsoka Tano here is a primary unit, and this is Padawan Ahsoka Tano, who is a secondary unit. However, down below their title, you can see that their name is Ahsoka Tano, meaning that they can't both be in the same strike team. This goes for both named famous characters as well as unnamed groups of characters that make up a single unit, such as the 501st Clones or the Clan Kryze Mandalorians. You can't have more than one of those units in an entire strike team. So going back to the whole era thing, like I said, if the leader of the squad is from the Clone Wars, then all of the units of the squad must be from the Clone Wars. However, you can combine heroes and villains in the same squad, and you could also combine a Clone Wars squad with a Galactic Civil War squad in the same strike team. This can create some very interesting team ups, maybe some kind of dream team that you have with, Lord Vader and Lord Maul, both from different eras, but as long as they're leading 2 different squads, you could have them in the same strike team. So the last thing that they talk about in this transmission is synergies and tags. So Shatterpoint gives us the freedom to mix and match heroes and villains within the same squad, as long as they're from the same era, and then allows us to mix eras within the same strike team as long as they're in separate squads. But they do incentivize us to create a cohesive thematic team with tags. Some examples of tags include Force User, Jedi, Separatist, Scoundrel, and Clone Trooper. There's definitely going to be more, but those are the ones that came with this transmission. And tags affect which abilities affect which units. The example that they use here is that Captain Rex has Get a Move On Soldier, which affects Galactic Republic characters. So Galactic Republic must be a tag of the unit that it affects. This is a good way of balancing very stacked squads with the strongest heroes and villains in the same squad and cherry picking the strongest units from each era with some different synergies if you build, like for example in Legion, the 501st Battle Force, which has its own perks. So to keep it simple, tags are keywords for characters which affect which abilities affect them. So I'm super excited. I think that this is a good bite-sized amount of information from Atomic Mass Games here to just kind of reignite the hype that already exists for Shatterpoint. It's great to see that we're going to have the freedom to make these crazy cross-era, cross-hero and villain strike teams that you see a lot in Marvel Crisis Protocol, but that they're incentivizing us with these tags and different synergies to make a more themed strike team. Just a couple more things that I wanted to talk about here. You could tell that they really tried to encapsulate the character's personality, both in the models and even the art on the cards, where we have the older Jedi No More Ahsoka Tano looking more serious, whereas over here we have Snips Padawan Ahsoka Tano, who seems a little bit more joyful because she hasn't had all of the life squeezed out of her by the Jedi Council yet. All that to say that you could tell that there's a whole lot of heart into this game. I'm very excited about more news and rules articles coming out before Adepticon, and then of course super stoked about the demo at Adepticon. But that's all I have for today. So if you have any, speculative comments or constructive criticism, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Or over on Twitch. I stream on Twitch sometimes. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.